Hey, call me Louis. This is my spot. LuiSpot.
What is going on in Gaza is a travesty, and it offends every human sensibility. We were offended for sure on October 7th when persons were killed in Israel in acts that were utter terror. But what has happened since then is dwarfing that in terms of the scale of I don't even think the horror and terror is sufficient to describe it, because separate from the bombs, the notion that people will not have access to water, or people do not have access to fuel, or that babies have to lie on beds cuddled next to one another in the pictures that we've seen in order to keep some level of warmth. These things are not good. It is perhaps the first televised genocide, and hence the world is responding across. I think in our own country this weekend we have a march, and it is right and fitting that people on all sides should be able to express their opinion. But it is equally right that civilized nations must be able to hold people to activities that fall outside of the pale. There is an international criminal court that exists today because a former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago made a case that was born out of Caribbean values, that there are certain things that we should not allow any country, any state to engage in. If you want to fight, fight. But don't have young children, old people, honest, and civilians become victims of a battle in a way that simply finding a humanitarian ceasefire could have removed from them the threat of loss of life. Simply finding the mechanism to be able to pause, because I said 3 weeks ago, and I mean it, peace will come. There will be peace. The longest war, Ralph, you are the professor, the longest war in history was what, the 100 Years' War? And that came to an end. That came to an end. And therefore the question we must ask ourselves is how much more, as John King would say, how many more must pay the ultimate price before peace is secured? I say this because even though we are thousands of miles away, our sensibilities are very much in it, day in and day out, as we watch the news and as we watch social media. And I ask our people to pray for both sides, and to pray that they will find in them the courage to build the peace that the world needs. And this is not to say that their battle has any more value than what is going on in Darfur, in Sudan, in other parts of the world. But this one, regrettably, has been constant in people's living rooms and bedrooms and dining rooms, because it is being televised. And I pray, therefore, that all countries of the world will urge that we secure peace before what we do is resurrect centuries-old enmity that will last yet again for decades, rather than seeking to be able to build a peace.